Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Miami Heat drama could be brewing, it's gonna be ugly fast. The absence of a Jimmy Butler extension is threatening to torpedo the Miami Heat season. Butler, a six-time All-Star, is more probable to demand a trade after the Heat did not offer him an extension this offseason, Yahoo Sports' Tom Haberstroh predicted on The Kevin O'Connor Show on October 8. Jimmy Butler is one of those larger-than-life personalities that can be great. And then, gets really tiring, and people start to tune him out, Haberstroh said. And if the Heat get off to a poor start, the Butler extension question could get ugly fast, he said, in the same way Butler left the Minnesota Timberwolves in 2018. He is a dude that is going to walk into every locker room, and you're going to feel him every single time, Haberstroh said of Butler. And so I think when you talk about Jimmy Butler and what the Miami Heat could get for him, I do think that you might have get this game of chicken between Jimmy Butler and team president, Pat Riley, two of the most proud personalities, large personalities. I do feel like Pat Riley and Jimmy Butler, if they're not right, it's gonna be ugly fast. Butler's larger-than-life personality was on full display when he talked smack about the eventual champion Boston Celtics and their arch-rival, the New York Knicks, during the 2024 playoffs. The Heat lost to the Celtics in 5 games in the first round of the playoffs. They lost the chance to face an injury-riddled Knicks team when Butler exited their play-in match against the Philadelphia 76ers. The Knicks dispatched the 76ers in 6 games in the opening round. If I was playing, Boston would be at home. New York damn sure would be, expletive, at home, Butler said on May 4. 2 days later, on May 6, Heat president Pat Riley admonished Butler during his end-of-season press conference. For him to say that, I thought, is that Jimmy trolling or is that Jimmy being serious? Riley told reporters. If you're not on the court, playing against Boston, or you're not on the court playing against the New York Knicks, you should keep your mouth shut in your criticism of those teams. Riley said at the time the Heat were not going to extend Butler, 35, this offseason. We don't have to do that for a year, Riley said. And so, we have not discussed that internally right now, but we have to look at that, making that kind of commitment. Riley repeatedly talked about players' availability during his 43-minute presser, including blasting the NBA's 65-game eligibility rule, which he believes sent the players and their agents a message that it's okay to miss 17 games in the regular season. Butler has never played more than 64 games in the regular season since moving to Miami in 2019. In response, Butler went into the team's media day with a serious outlook, a stark contrast to the previous seasons when he showed up with dreadlocks in 2022 and a rock star emo look in 2023. No shenanigans, Butler told reporters. I always want to hoop, always want to compete with my guys, Butler added. I hear, Riley. Riley even shared he had already discussed Butler's availability with the star's agent. I see what he's talking about, Butler added. I'm going to play as many games as I can. Heat's first cut of training camp could not have been more obvious. The Miami Heat are hungry to prove their doubters wrong. The GM survey showed little faith in the franchise, but Jimmy Butler has led the Heat to the conference finals in 2 of the last 3 years and 2 NBA finals since 2020. They believe another deep run is possible, but the Heat need the right pieces around Jimmy Buckets. Training camp is underway, and the Heat are already showing signs of promise. Bam Adebayo's improved three-point shooting is something worth watching. Terry Rozier is back healthy, and fans have seen Butler appear locked in since media day. The Heat have to trim their roster before opening night. They currently have 21 players, including their 3 two-way options. Miami must reach 18 before opening night with 15 or fewer on standard contracts. The Heat likely only keep 14, and their first cut was obvious. The 6 feet 4 inches guard went undrafted out of Villanova in 2023 before signing an Exhibit 10 contract with the Heat last August. Daniels spent the entire season with the Sioux Falls Skyforce, where he averaged 12.9 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 2.2 assists in 31.5 minutes per game. The Heat announced they waived Daniels on October 10 to make room to add Warren Washington. The 7-footer gives them a big man for their G League squad, and parting with Daniels was a no-brainer. The 25-year-old did have 8 points and 9 rebounds in the Heat's first preseason game against the Hornets, but he came off the bench in Summer League and struggled to hit shots. His inconsistent jumper and lack of playmaking made this an easy decision for the Heat. Miami has Rozier, Tyler Herro, Duncan Robinson, Alec Burks, and Josh Richardson vying for minutes in the backcourt. There is just no room for Daniels or anyone else. His Summer League struggles prove he needs more seasoning in the G League. The Heat have several training camp invites vying for their final roster spot, and the team wants to be successful in the G League. It should not surprise anyone that they dump Daniels to add a big man. Daniels and Washington will end up on the Skyforce and will be quality options. The Miami Heat will likely cut Zion Pullen, Nasir Little, Washington, and Isaiah Stevens before the October 21 deadline to be ready for opening night. It will leave them with 14 players and enough talent to surprise some people. Each player will get a shot in Sioux Falls and might become Miami's next unheralded find. Daniels won't play on the Heat this season, but his upside is worth monitoring during his time in the G League. Miami is known for developing talent, and he might be the next success story. NBA Insider makes worrying claim about Jimmy Butler's Miami Heat future. One word to appropriately describe the Miami Heat's activity over the summer is confusing. This could very well turn out to be Jimmy Butler's last season with the franchise, and yet, there does not seem to be any urgency to push for a championship, having come up short in 2 NBA finals since the turn of the decade. Butler has been the face of the franchise since moving to Miami in 2019. But he was not handed an extension by the organization this season. He has a player option for the 2025-26 season, and he would become a free agent next summer if he decides to opt out, which one would expect him to if an extension has not been agreed upon with the Heat by that point. Of course, it is possible that the Heat have given up on hopes of winning a championship with Butler and are already focusing on the Bam Adebayo timeline, having handed him a monster extension this summer. One cannot overlook the comments made by Pat Riley about Butler after the Heat's playoff elimination last season. Is there some friction between the two? Could there be in the future? According to Alder Almo on Heavy, Yahoo Sports' Tom Haberstroh said on The Kevin O'Connor Show, Jimmy Butler is one of those larger-than-life personalities that can be great. And then, gets really tiring, and people start to tune him out. Some of Haberstroh's comments will worry Heat fans. As he said, he is a dude that is going to walk into every locker room, and you're going to feel him every single time. And so I think when you talk about Jimmy Butler and what the Miami Heat could get for him, I do think that you might get this game of chicken between Jimmy Butler and team president, Pat Riley, two of the most proud personalities, large personalities. I do feel like Pat Riley and Jimmy Butler, if they're not right, it's gonna be ugly fast. It would be safe to say that Butler has established himself as a franchise legend over his time in Miami, and most Heat fans would like to see them lift a championship with the 35-year-old. Basketball is not always that straightforward though. There are a number of contenders around the league at the moment, and there is some sense in the Heat trying to time their championship push rather than making win-now moves in hopes of winning one with Butler. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Jimmy Butler? Leave your opinion in the comments.